Hello and welcome to Resident Resources with Ledgeview Commercial. I'm Brittany Ping and I am joined here with Sara Lachance. So I think it's fun to introduce Sara a little bit. You've been with us for almost 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And the real reason that we have some of these resident resources in place and the policies is due to your experience in customer service and when you came on board with us. So it's a little bit of a funny story. So Sara, how did we start? How did you start with Ledgeview Commercial?
So I live in a property that was sold to a new owner, and the new owner hired Ledgeview to do property management. It was one of my first experience with a property management company, and for the first few years, had nothing to say to Ledgeview at all. Until the winter of 2018, where I had a heating issue in the apartment I rented and still rent to this day.
I think it's 2019. Didn't you come?
It was 2018 for sure.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, 2019.
2019.
It was the winter of 2019, December. It was the first cold snap for New England. And if you are a longtime New England resident, that first cold snap is brutal. And although we had tested our heating system prior, we didn't need to turn it up as high with the previous temperatures. So we were in what felt like the negative 30s, and my heater failed. And I called and put in a work order, and then I heard nothing for days on end. I called for updates, and when the phone was answered, it was a curt conversation, in my opinion. Oh, your heating system failed? Okay. Can I get an update? It's with the vendor, was the response I got. And I felt like I didn't matter, and I felt like my family didn't matter, and I felt like our heating concern was not a concern. But the reality of it was there was a staffing, right? There was an influx of no heat calls, right? And they had to be outsourced to vendors, but nobody could give me this information at the time of my call. After 4 days with no heat, no resolution, I was ready to call in every big dog that I could ever find and put this company under.
But instead, you got a hold of me.
Instead, I was escalated to the director of property management, and we had a phone call, and I really just voiced what my concerns were. I had a call with Brittany, and I advised I felt as customer service, it was non-existent. And truly what I was looking for was an update from the vendor. What's the vendor doing to help me?
Mhm.
Is there a part that needs to be found? Is there assistance that we can provide as residents to help move these things along? Is this just a standstill? And I'm just unfortunately stuck in a standstill. Any communication would have been appreciated, and that was just lacking. So on the call, Brent was advising that she was hiring a new customer service specialist to assist with conversations just like the one that I was in need of when I had a heat, which at the time of the call was resolved, but I was still spicy about it. Um,
So I said, I'm going to hire someone, and she said, no, you're going to hire me.
Yeah, I was very confident.
I was very confident we were hiring someone else at the time.
I was very confident that wasn't the case.
She said, no, you're going to hire me. And I said, okay, get me your resume. We'll get you through the interview process. Yeah. And so I think we had an interview with you by that afternoon.
Yep.
Came in the next morning, absolutely killed the internet and said, this is how you provide the level of customer service that you're saying that you want to provide as an organization. Yeah. I absolutely know how to do what you're saying. We're going to be great. And that was that. I think you started within a few weeks after that.
I did. Yeah. I did. Just after the turn of the new year. I started in January of 2020 and promptly found ourselves in a pandemic.
Yeah.
In a brand new field for me. But it was even more important at that time to provide that customer service, that communication. It was even more important for me as a resident, not knowing what the state of our country and world was going to be like, to really just answer the phones.
Awesome. So when we talk about resident resources here, just knowing that, it's not just coming from the background of the principal broker with all of his experience. It doesn't come just from me, from my experience. Yeah. It comes from the fact that, when we said, hey, we want to provide excellent customer service in a timely fashion for our tenants, it's being created by a tenant that didn't get that experience. And so when we talk about resident resources, just knowing the place that we're coming from, why these things are active, and just that it's, it's the experience, knowledge, compassion, and, that kind of underlayment where she gets to look at me and say, don't you remember? This is why you brought me on. So We hope that you join us and listen to some of our resident resources. Thanks so much for getting to know Sara and I, and click on some more of our videos to learn more.